times when you might feel aimless and can't see the places where you belong, but you will find that there is a purpose. It's been there within you all along, and when you're near it, you can almost hear it. It's like a symphony. Just keep listening, and pretty soon you'll start to figure out your part. Everyone plays a piece, and there are melodies in each one of us. Oh, it's glorious.
This is myself, and this is my friend Maryfer.
Hi.
So we served mission together here in Temple Square 5 years ago in October, and it feels like forever ago. Today we spoke to a lot of sister missionaries that are serving here. It all seemed really nice. Either you don't know anything about what missionaries do as members of the church, or you might. But even if you do, Temple Square sister missionaries are a bit different than regular missionaries. So one of the things that we do is that we only get to go around the grounds of Temple Square and some other places just out of the area, like Welfare Square, Humanitarian Centre, and the Beehive House.
Yeah, it's a little bit different because we don't go with, families and eat with families like regular missionaries. So pretty much we spend all the time here on Temple Square. And sometimes we call these missions go outbound, where you go to a different states in the United States, and then you have the opportunity to be with actually families, or like in the family wards or something like that. But normally we spend a whole year and a half here on Temple Square walking in the grounds, but we still teach people.
Yeah, we teach them the normal missionary lessons about the gospel and about Jesus Christ and about Joseph Smith and the Restoration, and tell them all of it, but in a more condensed fashion, because they have less time here in Temple Square than they would do in their own homes.
Yeah. That's something that they teach us here, how we were teaching people in a short period of time. Sometimes people, they will have 5 minutes here in Temple Square because they were just passing through, or 15 minutes lesson. So you have to get to know people through questions, and get to know them very well, and just teach them according to that, and basically about the Book of Mormon, plan of salvation, whatever their needs are or were in that moment. So it was kind of fun at the same time.
Yeah.
Learn from a lot of people from all over the world. That's also something fun. Different cultures.
Like there's over 200 sister missionaries that normally serve in Temple Square, and they're from all over the world, speaking over 50 languages. I remember it. And yeah, so you meet a lot of different girls from all over the world, and you make great friendships like ourselves.
Of course.
And it's a great experience, and you meet people from all over the world, that come to Temple Square. And there's a lot of Chinese tours that come. They're called motor coaches that come on buses, and from all over the world, but that's mainly like a large percentage of the visitors that come by bus on tours. And there's sister missionaries from China or from Taiwan or other places that can speak Mandarin Chinese and take them on tours, and I've had some great experiences with them, and just seeing how interested and excited they are. They also like to take a lot of pictures and get distracted a lot, but it's like that, but it's fun. I mean, there's a lot of people that come. Some are interested and want to learn about it. Some people don't have much idea what we know or teach or believe in. And sometimes you have great experiences, and sometimes you meet some crazy people.
I know, really crazy people.
Yeah.
Also, as a missionary, you kind of wait for those crazy days, like General Conference, for example, or Christmas, when it's full of people. The square is just full of people coming from all over the places, especially General Conference. And then you have to ask for referrals. We call referrals when you have tons of members of the church, and then you ask them if they know a friend or family member that they would like to know about the gospel. So you are running all over the place, almost didn't have time to eat anything because the time was so short that you have to be asking people and talking with people all the time, because there was like super packed of people in here. There was like no space for you to walk. You were walking like this. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, it was fun. Christmas, the lights, love it. I love it. Just like everything is lights everywhere. People coming as families. It's fun to see people coming here and see Temple Square.
We're gonna tell you some mission stories, some funny stories, maybe some sad stories, and just reminisce over good times. What is like a funny memory from the mission that you have?
It's like how people would come to me and ask me, sister, where are you from? So I'm from Mexico, right? So I have my flag from Mexico. It looks similar to the Italian flag. So people used to come with me and say, oh, so where are you from, sister? Like, oh, guess my place. And they'll say like, Italy. Like, no. I even said like if I was from Africa one day. I was like, no. It's like, I'm kind of like the neighbor of this country. Brazil. I was like, no. I know for sure. Canada. I was like, no. Just people, they don't know where Mexico is. It's like, well, Mexico. It's like, oh, really? Oh yeah, that's true, because of the colors and because of the thing in the middle. What crazy was that?
That's pretty crazy.
It's like, it's not funny, but I mean, it's always funny to me see people like trying to guess like where Mexico is. They don't know where Mexico is.
It's pretty close, so they should know, but they didn't.
Even if we're like neighbors, just they don't know. People
Exactly.
just don't know.
Well, people don't talk to the neighbours here unless you're giving out cookies, right?
It's true.
Exactly.
It's true.
But I haven't had one cookie since I've been here. Actually, I have. I bought my own self cookies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, one of the funny stories, little child running in the background. One of my funny stories is there was one lady, American lady, and she was so enthusiastic. The thing is, as soon as they see your name and also your flag as you serve here as a missionary, they always assume your country, like she said. So they knew you're from Scotland and they would just go crazy because Americans love their heritage, and most of them come from Scotland, Ireland, Wales and places like that. So as soon as they find out I was from Scotland, they just be like, oh my gosh, you're Scottish. So am I, I'm Scottish too. And I'm like, really? You're not Scottish at all. But then there was one lady that came down to talk to me, and it was a very like quiet night, and I've had this happening quite often where Americans assumed that they were like 100% Scottish. And this lady just came to me and she was like, oh my gosh, you're Scottish. Your English is so good. How did you learn? Did you learn in high school? And I was like, yeah, I learned in high school. And I just like ended the conversation and walked away because I just knew that I wasn't going to continue talking with this crazy lady that had no idea that we speak English in Scotland.
But seriously, your English is so good.
Thanks. I think it's pretty good myself. I think it's pretty good. Working pants together, there was a lot of fun moments we had together. We laughed a lot and just had a great time. But there's one moment or one story that I can remember is there was another sister missionary called Sister Loa, Gwen, which, you know, she's fantastic, from Belgium, and Maryfer and her used to share a Stitch plushie, which is like the Stitch from the Disney show. It's Disney, right? Yeah. And so they used to share it every few weeks. They would swap or something, right?
Yeah.
And there was one time when I was just like, do you know what? That needs to go in the wash because it smells so bad. It needs to go in the washing machine. And so I like took it off the bed and I was like, I'm sticking it in. And she was like, no, it can't go in. She doesn't want it washed. And I was like, no, it has to go. And I wasn't really going to, but I was just messing with her. And then I was like, I gotta put it in. And we were like wrestling, trying to get, like, I was trying to get in. She was trying not to get it in.
That was because I was not allowed to wash it, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, you put it in there. It's like, no way. She's going to kill me.
Exactly. That was hilarious. And I'm sure like I tried to tickle her for it or something. I think I think I tickled you. She's really tickly. Like I find that out. She's so tickly. I tickled her so much and I gave her like a second to breathe and I would tickle her again and she can, sorry, I'm shaking the camera so much. And I tickled her again and there was like a moment and she tickled her so much. She was like, Mom! She's like, Mama! She was like crying.
Mama.
She was like crying for a mum because I was tickling her so much. I thought it was funny. I was laughing so hard.
It was too much.
That's quite famous. I've told that story to a lot of people, but
Really?
like I was like, I've tickled somebody so much they cried for their mum.
It's me.
Yeah, that's you. Now everybody knows who it is.
Me. Hey. We talk about like kind of funny stories, but what's do you have a story that it was like kind of a spiritual story or emotional for you that touched you the most in your mission?
Yeah. I had a time where I just started my mission. I was very shy. I had a very well-behaved, strict companion who was very to the letter and was a good example to me. And so one day there was this older lady that wanted to visit the temple and had just exited the temple, and I was taking some time to sit on the areas inside the temple grounds. So we walked past this lady when she was sitting there, and as I was walking past her with my companion, and she was the lead companion, she was more senior than me, and so I kind of followed her lead and everything. But I felt in my heart, I felt kind of voice or a feeling that we should turn around and talk to this woman. And because I was, you know, the younger one, I felt like, you know, I shouldn't tell my companion what to do. And we continued walking, and the second time I felt like we should turn around, talk to that woman. And I was like, nope, I don't want to turn around. Third time, the same thing. And so the third time I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna have to say something. So I turned to my companion and I said, we're gonna have to go talk to this lady, right? So we went turned around, we talked to her, and it turned out she was like really upset. She'd been having a really bad day, and she even like went into details about how her and her husband are having a hard time, and she was having like a little bit of a breakdown, if you want to call it that. So we were talking to her about relationships and families and how God can help you with that. Just trying to be there supportive to her. My companion went downstairs and she went to go get this magazine, and it was the article that was in there was about families and about the issue that she was going through. And my companion kept it down in that locker for maybe a month, feeling like she shouldn't take it back to the flat or the apartment because she felt like she needed to keep it there for some reason, and that was the reason. And the women went away feeling a little bit better, hopefully, about her situation. Since we just seen the lovely wedding couple over there, you be married in the temple, but it wasn't this temple behind us. This is Salt Lake Temple.
Yeah.
So what are temples, like what are they used for?
Like you said, I was just married in that temple a year and a half ago.
Yeah. My bad.
And one of the things that I love about that is like, and we have a church, is the temples, that families can be together forever. And that means like no matter what, if I am faithful in a church and I do the things that I'm supposed to do, I know that if, for example, my husband or my daughter one day like passed away or something, I know that I can see them again. It's not just for this time, but it's for eternity. Like, you know, after this life, it's continuing. So we kind of like call it sealing in the temple, you know, when you seal an envelope, because there's nothing that they can undo that ordinance in the temple, the marriage. So I know that no matter what, I will be with my family forever, not just with my husband and daughter, but also with my parents and my brothers and sister, and you know, so that's basically one of the most important things that we do in the temple.
Myself, I've not been married in temple, but that's a goal for me one day. And but temples are really important for us. It's a place where we feel closer to God and helps us to kind of balance ourselves out spiritually and help us to become better and become more like Jesus Christ, because he's the best example for us.
You know, I also like going to a temple because it's so peaceful. Like, it's one of the most peaceful places that I've ever known, and whenever you feel like super down or sad or you have trouble in your life, You can go just there and see it, and then you can feel the peace of the place. Simple. Even if you are in the grounds like we are right now, it's so nice and so peaceful and quiet, and just kind of enjoy and have time for yourself to think. Like mission is so fun sometimes. Sometimes it's like really tiring. Sometimes it's like exhausting, but it's what it is, huh?
Yeah, I mean it's hard work, but it's fun. Like I enjoyed every moment of it, but then also like going back home after the mission is like kind of like when you're in the army, you have to be a civilian again, but it's not the same. But you kind of like you feel like you have to be a civilian again, and you have to get used to being a normal person and have normal responsibilities and duties and stresses and bills and things.
And then you realize that you're never normal again.
Yeah. Well, we were never normal to begin with.
Yeah, I
so
know.
that never changed. But yeah, I'm glad I served a mission here because it definitely helped me. I mean, it helped me in a lot of ways. Like even when it comes to work, it helped me be more confident talking to people I never met before and talking to strangers. And
Yeah, and you can also make friends forever.
yeah,
Like families forever, you can also make friends forever.
yeah,
Like really good friends.
I know. Even though you're not from Mexico, I'm from Scotland.
It's like a symphony. Just keep listening, and pretty soon you'll start to figure out